This was a little bit too easy to accomplish, so let's create a new bird in this style, but with animated UVs, a rig, an animation, an environment, and even a cute storyline, you know? Also, I reverse engineered this, and this was even cooler to make than my other birds. I didn't start with modeling and then go into Substance Painter to create the textures. I started by creating the textures in Krita, aka Free Photoshop, and then created my alpha, the black and white mask, you know, with literally the brushes I have there. And then I was able to just place the material feathers as I need them as I go with the material preview in Blender. This saved me a bunch of time and saved me being frustrated like hell later down the line. Also, I got super good at modeling birds, which was super weird. So as for the materials, I used the same things I did in my last birds. There's like this, I don't know, semi-complicated notes that I use. One of you, my followers, mentioned that in my comments and I've been using that. Thank you so much to whoever did that. Speaking of which, I chose this crow because someone in my comments suggested it. I saw that comment, right? And then I saw a TikTok of a crow and an owl like talking. They were probably just sitting next to each other and having this mysterious like song in the background. And I was like, wait, this is like literally perfect. I'm gonna make a winter scene with a crow. If you want a more complex tutorial, I am gonna link my complex 30-minute tutorial for my other bird. But here comes the fun part. I'm gonna make a rig. So I started just simply, never did any other rig than for a human in the past. This is just a hobby of mine. I am not a professional rigger. And I saw somebody in my comments say that they would scale down these planes to their 0.1% of their scale so they can weight paint it easier. So I tried that. That was a bit tricky to figure out in the first, but when I did, everything was super fast. I don't know if this was faster and better than if I did not use that, but it worked for me really nicely. So if anybody else tries this out and will be able to compare, please let me know, because I don't know, did I just spend more time doing this or did I actually save myself a lot of time? So the rig was there. I tried to be fancy and add some IKs and stuff on the wings, but inverse kinematics only on the feet, and the wings and tail just got a few rotational ones, simply. And here comes the environment pieces. It was pretty fun. I didn't even have to create the masks, the alpha mask. I just drew on a PNG, just different trees, and put them on a plane and called it a day. This animation is going to be seen from only one angle and one angle only, so the bird is getting duplicated on the other side and trees are getting flat. I do not need any fancy objects here, especially since I am not calculating shadows in the typical way because of how I'm rendering this. I don't really have to worry about that either. As for the animation itself, I was like, okay, how can I incorporate that TikTok I saw, right? First initial thought was like, okay, romance, okay, but how can I showcase romance between a raven / crow and an owl without showcasing the owl? I'm gonna give it a flower. I did end up making the flower last minute, so it's gonna be the end of my video. But I drew out some very ugly breakdowns in my sketchbook, and from there I was able to just replicate it in my scene. Initially I was really scared it's gonna look ugly. Honestly, till the very last minute it did. I am a character artist who dabbles in animation. That's like my to-go phrase. So if you see some animation inconsistencies, please don't judge me too harshly because I just do this for the love of the game. And after blocking everything out, I was debating on how I'm gonna make this more interesting. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make the UVs move to have this feeling as if the artist is drawing with oil paints every single frame of this. Of course, it's not identical to that because if I actually wanted to achieve that effect, I would need a full proper shader, but I'm trying to achieve the shader without using any shading techniques outside of like just material flat rendering. I added some mapping nodes. I have the node wrangler enabled, so I think it was Control T. And from there, I was literally just keying the rotation and translation. This is like I don't know if there's an easy way to do this, how I did it, but I did 0 on the very left and I did like 1 on the very right for each of those mapping nodes. And then there was like a linear interpolation between them. And then I just keyed random places on the timeline and then I scale them down and I mix them in between each other. So I was able to get this effect. For the longest time, I didn't know if I had to do it with the alpha and with the color, and I ended up just doing 2 separate animations for both of them. Also, I did fog. And so in compositing, I added some bloom. If you watch my previous videos, you would know how me and bloom go way back. Yeah. And I additionally added some snow. I followed another tutorial on how to add some snow particles, and I'm surprised how easy particles in Blender are. I added my flower. As I promised, I did model it out, and then I just attached it by parenting to the bone. Initially I did that to the beak, realized that's a bad idea because when I scale down the flower, it's gonna scale down the beak as well. And I am doing like a little trick. So the flower is actually there the whole time, but I am just scaling it down to 0 so you don't see it. And then when I do want it to appear in my scene, I scale it up to 1. So I had to add 1 more bone, and I was too lazy to make it pretty. I was like, okay, this is gonna work. This is gonna be it. And I just added the flower to it, and I just scale down the bone and up whenever I needed to. This like 2 FPS per second thing is like super popular right now, but a lot of people are hating on it, saying that's like overused. I will give you an explanation why in my case this makes total sense. Since I'm going for an effect that this was done with oil paints, and let's be honest, if we're animating with oil paints, we are not doing 24 frames per second. We're probably doing 12. And much better, even 8. So initially I did try 12, but it did not give me that effect. Like I could barely tell I was missing frames. So I switched it to 3. I think technically it's 8. And I added some bloom in DaVinci. So I have a few birds in mind I want to do. It might take a while because I do have a lot on my plate at the moment. Please let me know in the comments below if there is a specific bird you have in mind or a specific project you think I might be able to tackle. If there's any indie developers that can like hire me for like a game that will be like paid for, like in the style or something, just saying, if like anybody got like super inspired by this and they want to collaborate, like totally let me know. Hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know your thoughts below. If I did something and you're like, oh my god, this could have been done so much easier, please let me know. I learn a lot from you guys. See you in my next video. Bye bye!